Hey, what's going on? JD here, and this is the Daily JD. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, hit that like button, hit subscribe, smash those likes, uh, and here we are. So thanks for tuning in. Good to see your review dropping in. Thank you so much. Hey, good to see you, Rob. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, being here right at the thing. Hey, good to see you, Lionel. Good to see you, Nick. Good to see you, Oren. Wow, awesome. That's a fabulous start. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it as always. Of course, my socials are there at Pain Inc. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Of course, I always tweet out before I go live. And of course, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for the stream. So, of course, we've got none other than Reviewy McReviewface. So, thanks for the support. As well as we've got our latest Patreon supporter. We got Mr. Rob Jameson. Thank you for supporting us over there, guys. And of course, we have our YouTube sponsors, none other than Josh WRB and, of course, Mum's Universe. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting us month after month. It's so appreciated. Hey, good to see you, Mitch. How's it going? So a little bit to talk about today. I guess a little bit to talk about, not terribly too much. So if you do have any things that you want to discuss, any topics or any questions or anything we can go over, by all means, drop those questions in the chat, and we can definitely discuss some of those things. Mitch, thought your office needs a clean based on your Instagram post. Go see the setup. Yeah, it's my office always kind of needs a clean. It is a disaster. Like, don't let the set behind you fool you. But this office is always in a state of flux. It's just because I film stuff in here. I paint in here. I draw in here. I do computer stuff in here. I do, video stuff in here. All my gear is in here as well. I've got, the vinyl cutter as well. So I do vinyl graphic stuff up here. It gets out of control. And I have the photo printer all in this little tiny office. So it gets a little bit out of control. And then you throw the podcast stuff in here. So I've got the microphones to set up the other computer, yada, yada, yada. It just, a lot of stuff going on in the space. And then, of course, I've got the studio downstairs. It's interesting. I also have all my gaming stuff here. So it's like, it's chaotic at the best of times is the way to go. No worries for missing Tuesday there, Rob. I was crashed on my couch. I just cleaned my office. It was way too cluttered. I do it every few months because it just doesn't matter what I do. It always gets into a state that it's just not workable. And if I have a lot of projects on the go, there'll be like things in progress, and it just gets out of control really fast. Lionel says mine too. My recording area is wrecked almost constantly, and I think that's just kind of how, to be honest, creative people are. I mean, I would love to have like a pristine office and everything, kind of perfect, look a lot like an Apple store where it's like no cables, no anything like that. But I don't think, number one, any setup is ever like that. Like I look at my Mac and I look at the desk there, and I look at, hard drives and splitters and all sorts of stuff and audio inputs and everything like that. I mean, my setup is not what you will find in an Apple store. It's just not that way. And it kind of goes throughout the office. And like I said, I try to clean up as I go. But, when you get busy, you're like, I'll get to that later. And then it completely goes out of control. So, but, when the creativity is going, I don't like to stop. I don't like to, put the dampener on things in order to put stuff in a nice pile. The nice pile can wait, and I do get to that eventually. It's just it's funny because I didn't have time today to go live. I did a pre-roll on Instagram, I think on Tuesday. So I did a pre-stream on Instagram before the stream, and I think I showed my setup and how I have things set up, and as Mitch mentioned, a little bit cluttered. Um, Can I share my King Dylan vid you mentioned in the Tuesday Live? Absolutely. Throw that in the comments. Share away. Rob was lucky enough to go out and see King Dylan's launch party this past weekend and put together a good video. I unfortunately had to bail on King Dylan because of my elbow. Although it was great, I got to see him last night. We were down for Scott Bennett's birthday party of the Path Less Travel. So happy birthday, Scott! Again, his birthday wish was to play Rockin' for Dollars down at Broken City. If you've never gone to Rockin' for Dollars is it's on every Thursday at Broken City. It used to be at Night Owl before it closed down, and they will have a pile of bands. They play 15-minute sets. The winner gets to spin the wheel and potentially take home cash, but most likely they're going to take home a broken cymbal or some drumsticks or something along those lines. But it's a really good time. It was a really good lineup last night. I saw a lot of bands and a lot of people that I've known for a long time. Some of them I haven't seen for a while. 240, who used to do the intro music for the podcast, our first iteration of the introduction way back when we first started out. 240 was nice enough to lend us some music. Ran into those guys. They were opening up the night. Of course, Alex and Mindseed, who I've worked with before. You may have seen videos here. They've been on the podcast as well. Great guys. As well, King Dylan got to go down there. I also got, I guess it's show and tell time. Dylan did a really good job of, sort of promoting his new album, and here it is in its glory. So that's King Dylan's new album. It is on vinyl. If you like hip hop, kind of rappy stuff, really kind of fun stuff, definitely check it out. Check out his website and stuff. One of the things that he did too is everybody that he bought an album for, and I don't know if you could see that really, really well. Number one, drawing some personal art, which was really, really cool of him. He didn't have to do that, but he did that. That is a Lego figure of me wearing a King Dylan shirt. So it's really, really cool. And as Rob mentions, yeah, the vinyl inside is blue. I have not cracked it open yet because I got home late last night. I had a doctor's appointment early. I've been sort of running around. As well as, if you have the opportunity, Dylan has a ton of albums. And, of course, some shirts and stuff like that. But it was really good to see Dylan get the album. I'm looking forward to listening to it. He does his initial release off the album. Check out his YouTube channel. The music video that he produced is phenomenal. Really, really good. And it features guys like Scott, whose birthday we were at last night, and some other local music people in his video. Really, really fun. By all means, check out that video. And like I said, Rob's got the live performance there in his video, so check that out as well. Good to see you, Josh. Good to see you, Scott, as well. So it was a super fun night. Like I said, there's a ton of people there. Also, Raised by Wolves. The Path Less Traveled, of course, because that's Scott's band. And, I got to see Chad. I don't remember the name of his new band, but, I won't mention his old band. But, it was a really, really good time. Got to see a bunch of people, some photographers as well. Bence was there. It was a good time. It was a really, really fun night. And that's what Rockin' for Dollars is supposed to be. And it was really a good time had by all. I think I booked out of there around midnight. That was Just Kevin, the band. There we go. They don't have a name yet. There we go. That's perfect. That's why I have an excuse for not knowing the name of the band. So it was really, really good. The Night Terrors were there, who are really, really talented. They're a really unique looking band. Their lead singer and guitarist is a massive man, and they probably have the smallest man on the planet in the band as well. It's quite the contrast. I first ran into those guys a few years back at Block Heater, but really, really good. And I do recommend, if you don't know a lot of local music acts, Rocking for Dollars, number one, cover's really cheap. It's like $4 to get in. Number two is you will get a wide range of genres, and you will get a fair number of genres as well. And, you'll get to go and see a bunch of bands, and you might find your, latest band. Like I said, the Night Terrors last night. I know that Dave, one of the photographers that was there, super into it. Like he had not heard them before. Heard them, he's like, "Wow, this is really good." And that's the beauty of things like that. And it's just a fun, quick, mashup set. I know, guys like Raised by Wolves, they played a lot of, they played Careless Whisper cover, AC/DC, none of their original stuff, which, I kind of wish they did. And of course, they did Sum 41 song with Scott. And like I said, it was just a great, great night. So there you go. Tonight might be the night. Well, uh, good luck. I hope things go well. What Josh is referring to is that he is expecting. I will say as well that I know it's on Crack Max's post, and I imagine it's on Josh's post as well. That if you do live in Calgary and you do live in, about the city, if you do see somebody stole L, which is Josh's daughter's skateboard, so keep your eyes peeled. If you happen to see it, please do let them know. And like I said, Josh, I do have a deck here for you for Elle, that she is more than welcome to if it does not turn up anytime soon. The most suitable one I could find, because my collection is, I looked at my skateboard collection and it's probably not appropriate for most people under the age of 12. But I do have one deck, so there you go. Well, going back to the comments, tonight might be the night. It's kind of blue too, slightly see-through. Oh, okay, the vinyl, yeah, cool. I do like colored vinyl. A lot of audiophiles will tell you it's not as good, but I mean that's getting a little bit over the top. I would say colored vinyl back in the day or picture discs, yes, when they did analog recording, but today it doesn't matter. I'm just excited to throw that on and give it a good listen while I do some stuff this evening. That will be my soundtrack. So by all means, like I said, check out King Dylan's stuff, and check out the Path Less Traveled, Raised by Wolves, Mindseed, 240, all these guys. They're all fantastic local bands. The amount of talent that this city has never ceases to amaze me, and they're all super awesome guys. All very personable, and go out and support local music. I just got to say that. It's well worth your time. Concerts are well worth going out. Let's see. Nifty says reviewee. Happy belated the Path Less Traveled, says Josh. There's a thank you from the Path. Dude, I'll go retweet that. Sorry to hear that. Yep. Josh, good luck with your wife. I hope they're relatively painless. We all hope that. We hope that. I'm sure Josh's wife really, really hopes that. Someone dropped off a band board last night from the community. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. That's really good when people, kind of go and do that kind of stuff. That's sweet. So Elle must be super stoked to be back on and pushing plank again. So that's good, and she's like super young. So, I mean, the thing is, when you start that young, it's going to be like second nature. By the time she's a teenager, she'll be kick flipping and hard flipping over all of us, and having a crazy time. Did you snag the skateboard I sent you last week? Did your bank account change its mind on it? No, I did not. I didn't. What Scott's referring to is Metallica released a Dogtown skateboard, which is right up my alley because Dogtown skates back in the day, for those of you, Jay Adams, Stacy Peralta, Alva, all these guys on the team, the movie The Lord of Dogtown was based on this team that skated for Veriflex back in the day. Dogtown skates erupted out of Dogtown. More of a hardcore skate thing. Metallica did a collaboration with them, a super cool board, but it was like $140 US plus shipping, so it's like $200 and some dollars. And as much as I love Metallica and as much as I throw as much money as I can at them when they just show me something shiny and new, it just the bank account did not agree with it. So, but I mean, I have a ton of decks. If you Lloyd and JD, when you watch you can take a look around there. All the decks that I used to skate when I was a kid on the walls. I have a closet full of decks that I haven't put up yet, and I have some extra ones that I skate that I sort of keep a stockpile of when I can get them. So there you go. I guess Butthead must have been censored there. Good to see you, Pete. There you go. Just retweeted on Facebook and Twitter. Good luck. Another local one to check out is Bluesy Stuff is Marcus Trummer Band. Young, talented, really, really talented. Cool. Two guys from Metallica played the national anthem last night. It was pretty stellar. It's interesting. It was funny. It was kind of the talk. I did watch. Somebody basically called me because they know I'm a Metallica fan. I've seen both Kirk and James play the national anthem for the Giants, San Francisco Giants. So they played it last night. Again, just a guitar thing. But the funny thing is you have Metallica do the national anthem for America, and then you just have somebody random do it for Canada. I kind of joked like they couldn't even get Drake to do the national anthem, although I hear that Drake is been banned kind of in the Golden State area, that a lot of radio stations are not playing his stuff just because they're not impressed with his antics. Congrats to the Raptors as well last night for winning on the road and, taking the lead in the series. It would be nice. It would be interesting if Canada could win the NBA Finals. I don't think that's anything that anybody would have ever said in the past, that Canada would ever be in the finals or win it or even be in contention for winning it. But it would be really kind of cool for the team as a whole, and it's always good to, increase awareness and, popularity of sports through things like that. It's always good for kids. Yo, Beavis and Butthead rule. We got some Bear the Destroyer in there, and she was terrible. Oh no. What else do we have? Metallica does the U.S. anthem. Should have Rush do the Canadian one. That would be really cool. Although I think at this moment, Geddy Lee is currently doing a book tour. He is going about. He's got his book. It's called The Big Book of Bass. Of course, because Geddy Lee being a bass player. So he's got that. He was touring about. He did a show here at the Bell Music Center. I think he was showing off his book there and doing a signing. I know I think he did a signing in Costco in Edmonton, which is kind of interesting. And, so who knows? He's off promoting his book, so it's unlikely to happen, and I don't know. I don't know if Rush would be big basketball fans. I just don't see it. But it would be kind of interesting to do that. I just started streaming that James Kirk National. Kirk still has shit tone live. Yeah, everybody, Metallica is. I love them to death, but everybody, either hates Lars, which I hate too. I'm not a big fan of Lars, but I like him for entertainment value. And Kirk is not necessarily the best guitarist, and there's a whole bunch of history there as well too. Go Canada, go! Rush is retired. Will be at the Bell Studio if he hasn't been already. Tom Hanks can't play drums anymore since his arthritis is so bad. Oh, really? He was here in Calgary last week. Cool. Yeah, Neil Peart. There you go. Who has an amazing kit. I will say that I was lucky enough. I photographed Rush, their last tour. It was great. It's one of those moments, the fact that I was able to photograph all those guys, it was fantastic. And I mean, Neil Peart has always had an amazing drum kit, but really cool. But the funny thing is just a quick side story concert wise that my credentials, my pass, my stage pass for Rush, people were offering me like hundreds of dollars for it that night, which would have got me in a whole bunch of trouble if I had sold it. But very, very interesting. Rush fans are definitely fanatics. If you watch the 90-minute making of Hardwire YouTube, you see how involved Lars is with the song building. Yes. I actually I've watched pretty much everything. I mean, the thing is like anything, the big thing, if you watch some kind of monster, is that Metallica has ego issues, and that's kind of the big thing that goes on with those guys. And it's good for them for working that stuff out, because in watching some kind of monster, I would say at some point, like I thought they were done, to be honest, and I'm glad they're not. I'm glad they're not. I'm a huge Metallica fan. His live guitar just kills me. There you go. Um, I love James's live tone. Uh, the Path, is that the one where Kirk and Lars fight? Yeah, it's actually I believe Kirk. It's one of the rare times that Kirk said anything. So I mean, it's kind of really interesting to see that. If only James' tone could be tuned down to Kirk's rig, it would be so much better. There you go. Lots of Metallica talk today. So I don't even know. Did I even talk about my elbow? I had a bunch of stuff that I was going to talk about, but it's great. The chat is so happening. So elbow update. Went to the doctor this morning. All looks good. Thank God. It's still giving me kind of some weird feelings and stuff like that, which is to be expected. Sadly, the bad news is that I do have a nodule in there that they found. So that potentially could have to come out, because that's what's been caused me the problem. I know it was causing me the problem initially. Since what happened on Saturday, that subsided a lot, but it may have to come out, which kind of sucks. But basically at this time they're giving me a 50-50 that it'll be fine and good, and that's it. I'll never have a problem again. But I don't like those odds. 50-50 is kind of a coin toss kind of odds, but we'll see how it all sort of plays out. But I mean, I feel fine. I was a little sore last night to pull out the camera to take some shots, and when I started moving about, it was a little more tender than I thought it was going to be. So I stopped almost immediately, because just had to give it a rest, which gave me the opportunity to enjoy some great music from some great musicians, and just had a good night hanging out. So, but that's kind of where the elbow's at. Moving forward, like I said, hopefully, you know, it does well. The other part is, I was looking to talk about Get Out There, which I kind of talked about, is, um, a lot of times we spend a lot of time in sort of digital space, whether that's, talking on forums, talking on Twitter, doing all the things that we do. You really do have to go out there and make those personal connections and talk to people. It's a much different experience, and I, I recommend it. Like, go experience real life in a lot of ways. Like, I think sometimes we get a little bit trapped in our own little offices, our own little cubicles, our own little kind of space, our own little phone space. You need to kind of go out and socialize and talk to people and have, sort of real interactions with people. I will say this about last night too, and just going into it. And again, it was like a super fun night. You know, uh, as far as things like, cell phones and everything went, like, everybody there, they kind of took a shot or two and all that kind of stuff. But for the vast majority of the night, everybody was just having a good time. I really didn't see anybody out, with their cell phones or anything. It was just people were out to have fun, sing along, dancing, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. And it's nice to make those connections. Like I said, I mean, I interact with a lot of the people that I saw last night on an ongoing basis on the internet, and talk to them, via Messenger and stuff like that. But that face-to-face time, those kind of quick talks and catching up, you get so much more accomplished, and it's just a way better way to go about things. So I mean, if you have an opportunity to go have a beer, go hang out, go do something, see somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, take the opportunity, go make those connections. Those connections are real, and invest your time in that. I mean, it's a good way just to generally live your life. Is kind of my message there. We got some tech talk about the Mesa Boogie and Diesel Premium. Boo Nodule, yes. Glad it's doing well. Thank you, sir. Char is playing with a broken jaw tonight. Don't complain about your elbow. Mitch, Does Steve have to talk more trash that I have to come out? I'm almost ready to ride. So I mean that's either good news or bad news for you. You can take that either way you like it. Either way, we'll have cameras and you'll have a drone, so it'll all get filmed. Uh, that's what we'll say. Fingers crossed for you. Thank you. I'd agree with that statement for sure. I didn't even think about the cell phone thing, but you're totally right. It's true. It's the cell phone thing is interesting because, like I said, I shoot a lot of shows, and a lot of times, I mean, people are there, but I think they're absent because they're just so focused on doing the cell phone thing. Like it's crazy, but there was definitely really good connections in the room last night. But I think it's because a lot of people there knew each other. They're all bent to together by a common individual, that being Scott, and just having essentially a good time. So there you go. King Dylan says, I agree. Face to face is valuable. It is. It is. It's absolutely. It's funny. Hopefully you saw earlier, Dylan, because we were toting this guy, which I think is awesome, and I just want to say thanks again. I love the Lego me with the King Dylan shirt. The artwork is awesome. And like I said, everybody can check it out. If you want to, Dylan, by all means, please drop a link in the chat to your album where people can hear it, pick it up, and all that kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to breaking that out. I haven't broken the seal on it yet, but it is going on after this stream. That will be my music soundtrack for the night, and I'm excited. And it was great seeing you last night. I think I'm gonna head to the Rail Yard Brewery tomorrow for a pint. And some pool. If anybody wants to join, I may do that. I may drop in there. The real King Dill is here. He is the actual King Dill. There you go. The actual. There you go. Josh says, I love getting out and talking to people in real life. And again, it's just a better way. It's again, we talked on Tuesday. We talked about groups like No Small Creator, and promoting your stuff online and what you can do to create a better presence. And that a lot of time where these things fall short is there isn't that real connection. It's just kind of that digital connection. I'm not saying that you can't have real digital connection, but ultimately, the vast majority of time, if you don't know somebody, it gets a little more difficult to sort of get behind it. There are people that I know from online platforms exclusively, sort of guys like Mum's Universe, who supports this channel on an ongoing basis, as well the Brew Monks. We've had that kind of connection. But when you meet people or you're connected to people and you talk to people and you see people and you view their shows and you do all these kind of things and you help support one another, that community gains strength and you will all grow together. And that's, was sort of the message that I was saying on Tuesday, is that you all really need, to get out there and support each other as best you can. And I will say last night as well, I think, the music, community leads very well by example. There were all these people out there supporting each other, enjoying each other's music. When somebody's not playing, they are at the front of the room, cheering on, dancing, having a good time. And, that's something I think that, things like online video creators can learn from musicians, in a lot of ways. So there you go. And Dylan's got his link in there, approved that. So that's awesome. Jameson, I was in radio for around 10 years. Talking to strangers is one of my biggest fears. It's interesting that you say that. I mean, it's you're in a safe space doing radio. You're in a safe space. Nobody can see you. They can only hear you. You control, the dialogue. You can train all those things. Very, very, kind of interesting. It is a very much controlled space, and I understand that. I could jump on a mic and talk to any number of listeners, but one-on-one with people I don't know, I can't do. And again, that's, kind of, where growing and taking the time and working on your weaknesses is a good thing. Like, number one, like I never thought, Mitch has known me for a very, very long time, from mountain biking and doing mountain bike films. I never would appear on camera ever. I never even considered. I just wouldn't do it. Sitting in front of the camera here making YouTube videos was a means for me, number one, to get better at talking, in front of groups, as well as talking sort of live off the cuff, which is, I'm sure, something that you, Rob, have, down pat, being in radio for so long. Being comfortable in front of the camera, not a big deal. I can talk to people in person. Sometimes I'm a little bit of a wallflower, but even that, sometimes, to be honest, it's forceful for me to get out. I am very much an introvert. I don't know if a lot of people know that about me. I know that Scott and I have discussed this on numerous. I am very, very introverted. I like my safe space, which is my office, my computer, what I know, pens, drawing, airbrushing, all that kind of stuff that I can do in quiet, or listen to the music that I want to listen to and do it, So going out and, being, in front of camera, or, talking to people, are things that I, push myself to do. I am more than happy to kind of keep to myself, but, each day, you can take small steps to improve those things by far. Again, I just want to say, jump on that King Dylan link. And like I said, check out the video that King Dylan released for the beginning of his first release off that album. It's phenomenal. If you want to see great video work, check that out. It's probably one of the best videos that I've seen in a long, long time. And it's really good. I enjoy it. I watch it a couple times a week, probably. I think it's really, really well done. And knowing and seeing some of the background shots of how it was done makes it that even more impressive. Really, really good. I've seen King Dylan live twice. Once with Broken Ride. He's always impressed me with the community, how they band together, how they collab. Cool. You were on camera, but usually beating up my friends. That was because... I'll speak to that for a moment. So that all started was because I used to fight professionally. When I filmed mountain bike movies, I had just retired from fighting, so I was, no longer fighting actively. Everybody kind of knew that's what I did, and they would make bets with each other. If somebody could, pin me or do something or get the best of me, guys like Jared and Dave Molson and Sam Jepson and all these guys would, take bets and do that. And then eventually what happened was it just became a process of me humiliating them and getting filmed by somebody else that would grab the camera. So there you go. I do have quick wit. There you go. There you go. So other than that, not a ton to talk about. If there is anything that you want to discuss, by all means, throw it in the chat. And the one thing I will kind of leave with today is, it's funny, we talk about communities and drama and stuff like that. There was, some drama locally in Calgary that was brought to my attention yesterday, which I found interesting, as well as there was some online drama as well, and all I can say is that, be the best creator you can be the best person that you can be. Don't dwell in, negative energy. Don't get into arguments that mean nothing at the end of the day. Just forget that stuff and work on what you're working on and be creative and move yourself forward is probably the best thing you can do ever. If you start putting a lot of energy into, sort of negative discussions or, all sorts of things, you're not going to move yourself forward. If you spend the time that you spend being negative on doing projects that you want to do and things that you love, or practicing, or honing a skill for somewhere that you want to be, you will be that much further ahead at the end of the day, and you will get to where you want to be that much more faster. It's just not worth the time and energy to get caught up in, sort of semantical, crazy, conversations that, it's just not worth it. Try to be the best person you can, be awesome to everybody, be as positive as you can be, help people as much as you can, even if you're going to get nothing in return. Just try to, be as helpful as possible if you can. And, the world will be a better place because of it. And I truly do believe that. So there you go. So There you go. We got, I've been really cool as a member of the music community, get involved. Branches of the arts and related connections are beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. Rock and roll says Nick. Awesome. Bear the Destroyer. We got some quotes from, of course, Beavis and Butthead from Pete. So appreciate that. So, like I said, other than that, I don't have a ton for you. This being Thursday, it's the last stream of the week. I'm always live Tuesday and Thursday, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. If you have any links that you want to share, whether that's to your latest album, your latest artwork, your latest video, your channel, whatever the case may be, drop that in the chat now. We'll get those out and, check it out. For those of you who, I'll talk briefly about Rumble. If you're not on the Rumble app, I do suggest checking it out. One of the things that we did talk about on Tuesday is getting on new social media platforms early on. What has happened since we've talked on Tuesday is that I know that they have reached out to Brian's Republic and are talking with him as well. I've been talking with them a little bit. We are trying some promotional stuff, so those are slowly moving forward. It's not a huge user base, but again, utilizing smaller platforms that are just starting out to connect with new users who are dying for content. Like with YouTube, you've got millions and millions and millions of videos, millions of channels that you can watch. Sometimes being found on this platform can be extremely difficult. With a platform that is launching out, that is brand new, if you can figure out a way to leverage that for whatever you do, whether that is, like I said, artwork, music, videos on other platforms, other social media things, Instagram, selling bike parts, it doesn't matter, but you should definitely try it because you will be more likely to be seen at that point. So there you go. We got some other links coming through. Happy Thursday. My dropship and affiliate for my YouTube channel. Cool. I would love them to reach out to me. Everyone hit that like button. That would be appreciated. Yeah, like I said, make sure that, I'll drop the link for Rumble. It's there. It probably links to one of my terrible videos because basically at the moment you're just talking about whatever they have come up. It seems to be the best way to sort of get into their algorithm. And of course, I talk way too much. So it's kind of suited for me. You're limited to 30 seconds, but there's a whole bunch of different things that you could probably do to grab people's attention. So if you jump on there, I haven't been able to find you yet, Rob. I will mention that. I haven't found you yet on there for whatever reason. I can't find you. That's kind of one of the downfalls of it. But, it's getting there. I know Brian's trending on the trending list and all that kind of stuff. So check it out. And again, they are quite communicative and stuff. And I think we're getting a bit of momentum as a community as well. So that is, there you go. Rob-Jameson on Rumble. You got it. All right. I haven't posted yet. And that might be part of it. If you post, then it starts gaining traction. If you just leave it blank, it's it's not going to get anywhere. At the very least, I would at least film an intro, just say, "Hey, I'm Rob," and at least get it out there because I think what they're doing is anybody that's posting is they're definitely putting those up. So check that out. So again, thank you so much, guys. This is the part of the stream where I click the play ad button. So if you do see an ad, let me know. If you don't, it's all cool. Based on a complex criteria, some of you may see an ad. Most of you probably won't. That's just kind of how this kind of rolls. But it's always interesting to see who gets an ad, who doesn't get an ad. And that's kind of it for the stream, guys. So I appreciate it that everybody has dropped in and all that kind of stuff. Just got an ad at the end. There you go. So we're going to bust out of here. Thanks again so much. Check out King Dylan's stuff. Happy birthday again, Scott. Thanks again, Rob, for being a new Patreon supporter. Thank you so much. Thanks to all our regular Patreon supporters. Reviewee. Of course, we got Josh WRB and Mum's Universe. All their links are at the beginning of this chat. And until next time, guys, see ya.